everyone, welcome to Botany Insider. So in this lecture, we'll be dealing with the topic of complementation test. We'll be understanding about that what complementation tests are all about, and then we'll try to solve out a question related to the same. So that if you find any question related to the same in the examination, you can easily solve out that question. So talking about the complementation test, so these complementation tests, they are used to assign the mutants allele to a specific genetic loci, or in very simple words we could say that complementation tests are actually used to identify that which is the actual region or what is the specific genetic loci. And what is a loci? So we have discussed about that what is a locus. So it is the singular form of the same. So locus is nothing but the location or the region on a chromosome. So complementation is actually helping out to help us in order to assign the mutant alleles a specific region where they are actually present. So the mutant alleles of the same genes fail to complement each other, while the alleles of the different genes do complement each other. We have to remember about this, that if the two mutants are there of the same allele, they will not be complementing each other, and if they are present on the different genes, or if they are of the different genes, so those alleles would be complementing each other. We'll understand about this with the help of a cross also. So the complementation tests are also given the name of cis-trans test, and in these tests in genetics what we do is that these tests are used for determining that whether the two mutations that we are taking into consideration are associated with a specific phenotype or not, and also if they represent the two different forms of the same alleles or the variation of the two different alleles. You will be able to understand about this. We'll discuss about a cross and then you would understand this in a better way. So this type of test actually helps us to find about that if the two genes that we are taking into consideration are present in the same chromosome or not, or it helps us to find out that whether the two different mutations that are present in the same chromosome or not, and also it helps us to find us the region of the alleles where they are actually present. So let's try to understand this by the help of a cross. So let's consider that we are taking into consideration the eye color of the Drosophila. So Drosophila is a very common model organism that is taken up for the experimental purpose, and so we are trying to understand about the same. So consider the eye color of the Drosophila is white in nature. This is the consideration that we have taken. So now what we have done is that experimentally we have applied any gene or any allele that is represented by A, and we have the presence of allele A now. So as a result of A being present in the Drosophila having the white eye color, we have the formation of the same white eye color, but there are some chemical reactions which are not very much visible in this generation. So now experimentally what we do is that now we have taken a allele B and this is now present, and because of some chemical reactions that are being done by the presence of allele A in the first experiment, what happens is that now the eye color changes to red. So this eye color red changes because first presence of the allele B, and also because of some of the alleles being present or some of the chemical reactions done by the allele A, which was the result in the first generation that we have just seen. So in order to prove this, that whether these two are complementing each other or not, what do we mean by complementing? So helping one another. Complementing in simple English word also means that when two of the things are actually being together, or they're helping each other in some way or the other. So this is the meaning of complementation. So now let's try to find out that whether they are present or whether they are complementing each other or not, that whether gene A and gene B are complementing each other or not. So in the first case, let's consider we have the mutation, we have a homozygous recessive mutation in gene A. So as a result, we have small a and capital B present. That is, this gene got homozygous recessive mutation. As a result of that, we have small a present, but this gene is present in the normal form. So we have homozygous dominant form. And in the second case, what happens is that as a result of second recessive and in the second case, let's consider that we have the normal homozygous dominant genes for the first one, but there occurs a homozygous recessive mutation in the second gene. So we have small b. So as a result of that, let's make a cross between these two. So as we have discussed already about that how the gametes are formed and how the alleles would be formed. So as a result of a cross between these two, we would have the final result as capital A, capital B, small b. How do we get this result? If you do not understand this, I would highly recommend you to watch the previous lecture in which we studied about the various crosses, that is the monohybrid and the dihybrid. You would be very easily able to understand this also. So now let's understand about that what is the difference in the phenotype. So in the first case, because A is absent but B is present, but the final phenotype of this particular combination would be white itself. Why? Because we have just understood that B was able to convert the white Drosophila or the white-eyed Drosophila into red-eyed because of the initial reactions done by the gene A. Hence, we will have the white phenotype of this particular combination. And same in this case also, we have the homozygous dominant for the gene A. So now we will have white. B is absent, hence red could not be possible. So we would be having white phenotype of this one also. But when we cross these two, what happens is we have a heterozygous condition for the first gene, that is gene A. So the Drosophila in this case initially would convert into white, and then because of the presence of a dominant allele of the second B gene, we would have the final result as a red Drosophila or a red-eyed Drosophila. Hence, we could say that gene A and gene B are actually complementing each other in order to provide the final result of red color. And how did we get this answer? We understood this by the help of the cross that we have just made. That is, in the first case, we had a homozygous recessive condition for the gene A, and in the second case, we had a homozygous recessive condition for gene B. So as a result of a cross between them, we had a red-eyed Drosophila, and as a result, we finally understood that both gene A and gene B are complementing each other in order to find out, or in order to have the final result as the red Drosophila. So this was about that what is complementation. So now let's try to understand that how to solve such questions. So one thing we have to remember is that is, if two alleles are complementing each other, the mutation is present in the different chromosome, and if it is not complementing, the mutation is present on the same chromosome. Let's try to apply this knowledge onto the question, and then you would be able to understand these lines. So we have this question from the previous year, and this is a 4-marker question. So the question says that given below is the result of a complementation test for 6 independent mutants, that is mutant 1 to mutant 6. So this is the result of the complementation test given, in which the positive represent the complementation, that is if it is present, so it represents a complementation, and if it is representing 0, so hence there is no complementation. So based upon the information that we are given, we have to find out the answer, that which of the following options is correct. So how you have to approach such type of questions are, all you need to do is you need to find out that which of the following, or which of the genes and the mutants that are given, they are present on the same cistron or not. So let's try to understand this. So first thing we have to remember is that if they are present in the same group, and the group in this case is given the name of cistron. Make sure you remember this because this term is used in the question also. So the first thing that you have to remember is that if they are present in the same group, then there is no complementation, and that no complementation could be represented by either 0 or a minus sign, or it might be written no. And if the two of the mutants are present in the different groups, then in that case we would have the complementation being present. Then in that case that would be represented by either plus, or it would be written yes, or any other symbol as depicted in the question. So in this question we are given that if it is present, it represents a positive group, and if it is absent, it represents a 0. So this is what is given. So now what you have to do is that start row wise and then select all of the negatives all together and put them in one complementation group. That is, we have, let's start off from here. So we have the first one. In the first one we have 3 zeros or 3 negatives, because 0 and negative could be interchangeably used. So we have the negative as 1, 3 and 6. So just write down 1, 3 and 6. So this is what we have got from the first row. In the second row we have only one negative, that is 2. And in the third row we have 2 negatives, that is 3 and 6. So just write down 3 and 6. In the fourth one we have 4 and 5. So write down 4 and 5. In the fifth one we have only 5. And in the sixth one we have only 1, that is 6. So this is the information that we have got. So what we have done till now is that we have just written down all the negatives that are present in each of the rows. And the next step that you have to do is that you have to take a row and just keep them in one group, or keep them in one complementation group. So the group would be called as a cistron, as we have just discussed. So in the first case we have 1, 3 and 6 being the first cistron, and then in the second cistron we would be having only 2 because we do not have any other group with it. So this represents the second cistron. So the third one is 3 and 6. We have to eliminate it. Why? Because 2 mutants cannot be present in 2 different complementation groups, hence just eliminate it. Then move forward. Then we have 4 and 5 being present or being representing the third cistron, and then just move forward, cut out 5 and 6 because we have already taken those values. So as you can see, all you have to do is you have to write down all the negatives all together from the first row up to the last row, as many given in the question, and then just make out the groups that are given. And one more thing you have to remember is you cannot repeat if you have taken one of the mutant before. Hence we have eliminated 3 and 6 at the third step, 5 and 6 also, because they have been used before itself. So we have got as that 1, 3 and 6 represent one cistron, 2 represent the next cistron, and 4 and 5 represents the third cistron. So just try to find out this information in the options given. So we have to find out that based upon the above, which of the following conclusions is correct. We have already find out the conclusion. We have to match it with the options given. The first option says that the mutation can be ordered in a single cistron as this way, which is an incorrect statement as we have just discussed. The second option says that all the mutation belong to a single cistron. Incorrect statement because we have identified 3 groups or 3 cistrons. The third option says that there are 3 cistrons present. It is a correct. Why? Because we have identified 3 cistrons. And then it says 1, 3 and 6 represent the first cistron, which is a correct statement. We have just find out. 4 and 5 represent the next cistron, which is also correct, and 2 represent the third cistron, which is also correct. Do not go for first, second and third cistron being the numbers. They are just representing that there are 3 cistrons present. It could be written as that 1, 3 and 6 represent the first, 2 represent the second and 4 and 5 represents the third. This does not matter. All you have to find out is there are 3 cistrons and the correct combinations of the cistron. So we have the final answer as option C. Let's read out the option D also. So it says that there are 3 linkage groups present. Mutation 1, 3 and 6 represent the linkage group A. 4 and 5 represents the linkage group B and 6 represent the linkage group C, which is an incorrect statement. Why? Because it is saying that 6 is present in 2 forms, which is a very wrong statement. I have just explained you that one mutant could be present in only one complementation group or in only one cistron. Hence, C is the correct answer for this particular question. So, in these type of question, what you have to do is you have to use the overlapping concept. How? I have just explained you. And then what you have to do is you have to select all the negatives that are present in all the rows or all the columns. And then what you have to do is that you have to put them in a single complementation group or a single cistron, as we have just discussed that. And then you have to repeat the same step. And you have to remember one thing also, that group would be formed only one time itself. What does this mean? That is, if you have used one of the mutant at one place, you cannot include it in the other group also. As we have just discussed that because 3 and 6 was grouped with 1, hence we eliminated the group of 3 and 6 alone. So make sure you remember this. Many students make this mistake. So you have to remember, we have to make the group one time only. If you have included any mutant anywhere in the first place, do not include it again. Just use it one time in the question. So I hope this question is clear to you. Let me just repeat it once more, because many of us find it very confusing to understand. So what we have done is we have taken all of the negatives row wise. So initially we have taken the first row, and in the first row we have 3 of the negative. That is, 0 is present in 3 ways. So under them we have 1, 3 and 6. So this is the first complementation group, or this is the first cistron. In the second case, or in the second column, we have only 1 negative. So we'll write it in this way. In the third row we have 2 negatives, that is 3 and 6. So 3 and 6, but we would not be considering it. Why? Because we have already made a group of 1, 3 and 6. And then in the fourth we have 4 and 5. So this is the next complementation group, or this is the next cistron. And then we have 1 negative of 5 and 1 negative of 6. We will not have to take these into consideration because these mutants have already been used up. So we have 3 complementation groups present. That is, the first one is 1, 3, 6, then we have 2, and then we have 4 and 5. And hence we have the final answer as option C. And with this we are done with the small topic of complementation test. I have tried to explain you in the simplest way possible. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming up very soon with more informative videos. And if you find any doubt in any topic, please do let me know in the comment sections below. I'll try to upload a video of the same as soon as possible. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.